Diamond Piece Sports presents Championship Drag Racing from the National Hot Rod Association. The Gatornationals. Brought to you by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, St. Louis, Missouri. Brewers of Budweiser. When you say Budweiser, you've said it all. By English Leather Toiletries for Men. Ask for English leather at fine toiletry counters everywhere. And by Fram, makers of oil, air, and gas filters, Fram windshield wipers, and Autolite spark plug.
I'm Dave McClelland. Joining me here at the Gatornationals and Gainesville Raceway, Frank Farino. Frank, we've seen some great racing so far.
We've seen some incredible racing so far. There's going to be more excitement to come. The crowds have been beautiful. The weather's been beautiful. I think Gainesville is a perfect spot for this little race. Big race, as a matter of fact. I think before this weekend is over, we're going to see an absolutely sensational race.
One of the things to look for, we've seen the first 5-second time ever here at Gainesville Raceway, and in final eliminations, which we'll be covering here today, I'm sure you'll be seeing more of them.
I say it's the NHRA.
9.
At nearly 150 miles an hour. How about over 150 on two wheels? This is the motorcycle proudly bearing the big number 1, indicating Terry Vance rode his Suzuki to the national title in Pro Stock Bike last season. Earlier, he tried to back up the national record that he had established in previous competition here at the Gatornationals. He's racing against Joe Folgore, who red-lighted away his chance for the win, and backed it up he did. In fact, the quickest time ever for Terry Vance.
This is Terry Vance, and as of a few minutes ago, he is the world's fastest pro stock motorcycle rider. Congratulations, Terry.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much. I'll tell you, they think drag racing only lasts for 7 or 8 seconds, but I'll tell you, I'll be pounding inside for a month.
8.68, those are pro stock car times.
Well, it's pretty fast, I'll tell you, but the track is just superb. They scraped it last night and resurfaced the starting line, and man, it's perfect.
Did you have any idea you could run that quick coming here?
Well, you know, we always hope we could run quicker, but I feel that the bike's got plenty of potential. We just got to squeeze it out.
Chevrolet's Lee Shepard in the far lane, driving the Rare and Morrison special, while here on the tower side, it is Pat Busey. Both drivers taking their time getting into those staging beams. The Camaro of Lee Shepard moves forward. The starter signaling Pat Busey, they're ready and they're gone. It's anybody's race at this point. And Pat Busey begins to pull away, and an upset as Pat Busey defeats the number 2 car in the world with an outstanding 8.44 second elapsed time. His speed over 161 miles an hour. The last few feet made all the difference for Pat Busey. Only 0.04 of a second slower was Lee Shepard, but that doesn't count because there you see it, by a half a car length, Pat Busey is into the finish line first. Times just as quickly as the car clears the timing traps at the end of the quarter mile. Here's Al Bergler out of Detroit, Michigan, the Motown Shaker. Bergler pulling up into the burnout area. Water puddles allowing the tires to break loose easily, and the 2,000 plus horsepower spinning them, smoking the tires. And you see the parts flying and oil coming out from underneath Al Bergler's car. Apparently something going wrong with the motor. Ray Beadle in the Blue Max pulling into the burnout area, and the official saying shut it off as Al Bergler dead on the racetrack. The car, lots of mechanical problems. You can see crew members out kicking off the parts and pieces that came bouncing out from behind it. Here comes Al Bergler's crew now. They'll be lifting up the body. Al will be getting out of the car.
There was no fire. These cars carry an onboard fire extinguishing system. The NHRA Safety Safari truck pulling out onto the track to begin the cleanup preparation. Let's go down to Frank.
Dave, apparently Birchler threw a rod, and that threw a lot of oil on the track, and that brought the safety safari out again to dry this track off. You can hear the thrush machine coming behind me. They'll try and dry it off and get back to racing as soon as they can. I'm holding the pieces in my hand from Birchler's car, evidence of the problem. Back to you, Dave.
Thank you, Frank, and a tough break for Al Birchler as that $12,000 aluminum power plant suffering severe damage.
Morrison. Little things can make the difference here, too, as a lot of work has gone on both of these cars to get them ready for this final attack on the quarter mile. Tim Gross in the near lane. That's the right lane. He doesn't particularly like it. Remember, that's where he's had his problems before. Frank Hawley has been dominating that left-hand lane, and the parachute comes out on Tim Gross's car. He loses as the vibration shakes the parachute out of the car, and another blistering 6.07 for Frank Hawley as the Chi-Town Hustler picks up nearly $20,000 and a Gator Nationals championship. Steve?
Coming out of the legendary Chi-Town Hustler of Farconis Coil and Minnick, loved all over the country for its long, powerful burnouts, has now proven to be championship caliber as well. For Frank Hawley, his first ever national title. For the car owners, well, they were in a final once before many years ago, but for them, their first NHRA Oscar as well. Tim Gross comes over, who worked so very, very hard to get his car ready. Tim may have even had a little bit of an edge back at the line, but the powerful Chi-Town did it. Something else, boy.
Thank you very much. It feels pretty good. Those guys all look pretty happy.
Yeah, I'll bet they are. A little bit of shock here. Can you believe this has happened to you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you drive a car like this, it's bound to happen, right? I'm real happy for Tim, too. I mean, he works real hard. I'm glad to race him. I wish, of course, you know, we could have advantaged our deal at Pomona. I wish Raymond had been around this long, but we'll get him down the road.
Well, the money went to where it was needed the most in this particular final.
Boy, I'll tell you, and it's about time.
Okay, a happy Frank Hawley, as you can see. Our congratulations to Austin Coyle and Pat Minnick and all the gang from Chicago, Illinois, the Chi-Town Hustler.
Before we get to that final in Top Fuel Eliminator, here are the factory hot rods, the finals in Pro Stock. Driving the Chevrolet Camaro is Lee Shepard from Arlington, Texas. Alongside of him will be the man wearing number 1, the world champion Bob Glidden out of Whiteland, Indiana. The Plymouth Arrow, the burnouts completed, approaching the starting line. Crew Chief Etta Glidden watching in the background, Lee Shepard concentrating on the Christmas tree. All important to start in this Pro Stock category, as it is in all categories of championship drag racing. Side by side, they streak down the quarter mile. The Chevrolet Camaro of Lee Shepard in the lane nearest the camera, and it is an upset win as Lee Shepard takes the measure of the low qualifier Bob Glidden. And listen to the elapsed times, 8.51 seconds for both Shepard and Glidden. A bit of a hole shot for Lee Shepard.
Well, you prove once again that Bob Glidden indeed is not invincible, not with a good driver.
No, he's not, but he's as tough as they come.
Okay, the Chevrolet fans are rejoicing up in the grandstands. Let's go back to the starting line and Dave.
Larry Lombardo of Malvern, Pennsylvania, matched up against Warren Johnson of Fridley, Minnesota, a pair of Chevrolets. Johnson utilizing the Camaro body and the big block engine. Lombardo driving for Bill Jenkins, using the Monza body with a smaller motor. They leave the line together. It's anybody's race to the finish line. It is Larry Lombardo, your 1976 Gator Nationals champion. With the wheels in the air, Lombardo comes off the line on his way to a new national elapsed time record of 8.716 seconds, over 155 miles an hour in the Gator Nationals championship.
At the starting line may turn into a car length or more at the finish, and it's up in smoke for Ormsby. Amato heads to the finish line and wins the race, and he has done it. 260 miles an hour for Joe Amato. His elapsed time, 5.58 seconds, and this overflow crowd at the Gator Nationals has seen the first ever 260 miles an hour. Let's watch how it was done. The race was won right there when Gary Ormsby went up in smoke.
for Joe Amato. That advantage parlayed it into a couple of car lengths at the finish and 260 miles an hour.
We haven't run slower than 257, and that was the old record.
We're just sneaking. I'm saying all day, people all been coming up and saying, when are you going to go through 60? But we want to win the race, the points chase. We want to be a world champion. And that's what we're here to do. So you can't let the speed, you know, it's nice to say I can go 260, but you can't let that get you, because we have to, win the race and try and tune the car for track conditions. So we've been just kind of sneaking up on it. And he made a little fine tune that time, and he said, if we're going to do it, this is going to be the run. And apparently he knew what he was talking about, because there it was.
Well, someone once said victory is fleeting, but history is forever, and no one will ever take your name out of the drag racing record books.
That's what's so nice about being able to first one to go 260.
Congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Joe Amato goes in the final round with a triumphal 260-mile-an-hour run.
Qualified number 2 and is now in the finals against Bernstein. Into the staging beams, both cars leave on a green light, and it's a very close race. Kenny Bernstein in the near lane begins to pull away, and a tremendous run, and ladies and gentlemen, 260 miles an hour by a funny car as Kenny Bernstein shatters all performance standards for speed. And crew chief Dale Armstrong receiving the congratulations for Kenny Bernstein's effort as he drove that Ford tempo-bodied car through the entire quarter-mile distance and the timing traps to run over 260 miles an hour.
The first funny car ever tested in a wind tunnel, thanks to Ford, and boy, did it pay off. 260, it sounds like science fiction.
It's getting that way, isn't it? I'm telling you, I don't know where it's going to stop. It's just going to get better.
Let's hope the winning doesn't stop for the Budweiser King and Kenny Bernstein. Here comes a crew that is second to none right now in funny car racing. Still cannot believe what they saw on the scoreboard. 260 miles an hour.
The team that made it happen, Kenny Bernstein and Dale Armstrong.
If you follow pro stock racing, one name that you always expect to see in the semifinals is missing.
Dave, a week ago tomorrow, at a track in Oklahoma, 4-time world champion and 3-time Gatornationals champion Lee Shepard was fatally injured. At the request of his fellow pro stock drivers, their cars were brought up the racetrack in a missing man formation earlier today. And missing in that pole position that he so often occupied, Lee Shepard. The drivers also, for the remainder of this season, will carry a black slash through their numbers in tribute to Lee. I had many long and friendly conversations with Lee Shepard, but never was that camera present. And we always talked about the things that were truly important to him. Family and friends and children and sports. He really didn't care for the attention that television offered, a very modest and humble man. And the thing that always impressed me in our very short winter interviews with Lee was that he seemed to feel some of the disappointment of the driver he had just defeated. We'll miss him.
All of us at Diamond P Sports extend our heartfelt sympathies to the friends and family of Lee Shepard.
Defeating Shirley Muldowney was an accomplishment in itself. Now he is racing against the crowd favorite as Herb Parks makes sure that canopy is closed tightly over Big Daddy Don Garlits. He approaches the starting line. Garlits has the whole shot. Pastorini is right alongside of him. Garlits to the finish line and moves into the final. And Don Garlits sets 272 miles an hour as the fastest speed ever on a drag strip. The crowd goes crazy. In addition, Garlits runs a 5.40 second elapsed time, the quickest time of the entire meet. Let's watch again. Garlits is in the near lane. This streamlined device accelerates down the quarter mile and easily outdistancing Dan Pastorini, who ran 5.49 seconds, losing to Garlits, who became the first driver ever over 270 miles an hour. As the fans say, Big Daddy rules, but he's still got problems with those front wheels. The Kevlar belt spun off once again.
You can hear him in the background. The crew says it. You punched a hole in the air. You drive right through it. 272.
Oh, my God. Too fast for the record.
Too fast for those bands on those rear wheels.
Yeah, we got to have some real tires up on the front of this thing.
You know, I heard you say to your crew, I'm not going to try the 270. That's over with for this race. There it was.
Well, it's just running good. You know, you can't hardly help yourself. You basically tune, and I didn't really, we were taking nitro out of it. It's just that it's so slick.
The concept obviously works.
Yes, it's the design of the future. There's no question about it. We'll have the tire thing fixed. We've already got tires. We got some little airplane tires that's going to do the job just nice.
Oh, by the way, you ran low ET as well, a quicker 540.
Great. Okay.
Big Daddy, the fastest man in the world of drag racing.
At the age of 54, Don Garlits, still the innovator, still the pace setter.